Hi, you want to find out what's better for you, renting or buying a house? You'll find help here. In this video, we'll dive deep into financial and psychological hidden assumptions everyone makes while deciding whether to buy or rent a house. If you haven't seen my previous quick approach video, please do that. Here I will concentrate on new areas only. It's decisional numbers. Let's calculate. In quick approach video, I promised to discuss the situation where period how long we want to stay and period of mortgage loan are different. Well, you may want to extend the term of mortgage and decrease mortgage payments, and typically most people do so. Harvard researchers also discovered that in US, for example, on average, just 45% of renters in metro areas can afford monthly mortgage payments on the median-priced home in their market. The model assumes that when you move out, you will sell your house. The decision to pay mortgage quicker and stay for longer is also possible, but people don't typically do that because it makes mortgage payment higher. Some people want to do that to be real owners sooner. It's harder at the beginning, but some people accept that. Remember that there is constraint here, the sum for rent and long-term savings. I can only shorten mortgage by 5 years. If I try more, then calculator warns me that this scenario is not possible. Here I would like also comment on type of mortgage payments, because it also can make life harder at the beginning but decreases cost of mortgage overall. Mortgage payments can be equal, the most popular model, or decreasing, equal principal paid. The payments are higher at the beginning but drop over time. You will also pay less interest that way. I can change it right now, but such payments are impossible for me. My income is not enough. Now we move to advanced assumptions. First thing is assessing whether in your area the population is growing. Why population? It's the most important factor on the demand side. If population is declining, it's highly probable that your house will lose value. Population is easy to measure. Every country has statistics about that. I'm planning to do a special video about it in the future, so please subscribe and hit notification button to be informed when it's ready. Okay, let's say I did my research and I found out that population in this area is growing. Then we have rates, a lot of rates. Well, we are talking about future here. Everything can happen. Every bank, every financial institution has their predictions. But everybody has their businesses. And they will tell you things to convince you to behave in their best interest, not yours.
Your profit would be upwards of $60,000. You could pay off your mortgage.
You can argue that we can always analyze the past data. It's objective, right? I don't think so. Manipulating data to show what you want to show, it's not difficult for skilled people. For example, let's talk about long-term investment return here. What rate do you want? 7% to show that rent is better? Okay, we will take S&P 500 data from 1926 average return adjusted for inflation. It's average, maybe 5% to hit rent decision? No problem. We will say, which is true, that data from 1926 is ancient and the nature of the economy in the US and in the world changed. So data should be from 1957, or maybe we need 3%. So we will say that S&P is growing in 10 last years like crazy and crisis is coming, and for the next 20 years average return will be significantly lower, let's say 3%. See? It's difficult to reject any of these approaches because every one of them has sense and is probable. So in my calculator I established rules between those rates.
The first rule of Fight Club is, you do not talk about Fight Club.
Inflation is the basis of all. Banks want inflation plus margin around 2 percentage points. House price growth when population is growing is inflation plus 1 percentage point, when it's stable plus half percentage point, and when it's decreasing it equals inflation. It's logical, right? Rent growth is half of percentage point above price growth because generally owner has to earn for himself transaction costs, carrying costs and taxes. And what about investment return? Well, I think it's connected to your risk appetite. If your risk appetite is high, I would say it's 6% plus inflation, medium 4% plus inflation, and low 2% plus inflation. I think those assumptions are good for most regions in developed countries. Of course, we have temporary disruptions here, like in big internationally known cities, New York or London, where billionaires and speculators make investments in real estates. But generally, such investments make prices so high that it's beyond the reach of average, normal, hardworking people. Now we have very important assumptions for houses: maintenance and renovation. And I think here is a great potential to decrease those costs if owner has psychological inclination to care for things and have do-it-yourself attitude. I think that maintenance and renovation costs can be decreased by 75% in comparison to typical costs. It has a very serious impact on your decision. I like repairing things, so I will cut it to half.
Jay, it's so grand.
You like it?
I love it.
Okay, so now we are going to my favorite assumptions, psychological ones. First is retention of your initial savings. I think that this money may not be reinvested in full. I would assume by default it will be retained as nominal, $20,000. Then we have to set our risk appetite. You should know it by now from your life experience. If not, I propose you a test. Take half of your monthly income, go to the casino, be there for minimum 2 hours and find out when will you stop playing. If you will walk out with no money or less than 20%, then you know that your risk appetite is high. If you end up with some profit or minimum 80% of your original sum, your risk appetite is rather low. In other case, it's medium. It's rough estimation, but it's better than nothing. Additionally, I think that there is significant correlation between the risk appetite and ability to maintain regular long-term savings. People with high risk appetite tend to be bad savers, and people with low risk appetite are going to be good savers. So what am I going to do here? I will set my risk appetite to medium level and leave my regular savings ability. If we think that price for our house is too high in comparison with rent, we would rent and wait 2 or 3 years for a good bargain. We can model that in our calculator. In those years, we have to keep our savings accessible, so return on them will be significantly lower. Okay, let's see what's the output. I think that on a regular market, normal average person will be better when buying. As I said before, some assumptions, especially connected to savings while renting, are not realistic in my opinion. Additionally, majority of people prefers owning, especially when they are in their 30s and older. To end and sum it up, I think when deciding on renting or buying a house, you have to really concentrate on 4 aspects. First is determining how the area you are going to buy or rent a house is changing. Is population growing? Is GDP per capita growing? What about infrastructure? And so on. The second thing is price of a house. Is it a bargain compared to renting? The third aspect is maintenance and renovation of the house. It is closely connected to your personality, and your personality can make owning a house much, much cheaper. The fourth thing is you, and it's the most important one. You have to spend some time and assess yourself. Find out what's your attitude towards saving money. Are you able to do that? I will make special videos about all 4 aspects mentioned above, so if you are interested, subscribe, hit the bell to be informed when it's ready. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.